So the sport of cricket is in the Olympics. Here's everything that you need to know about this development, answered via 5 very simple questions. Question number 1, is it the first time that cricket is part of the Olympics? Well, not. The first time that cricket was actually part of the Olympic was in the 1900 Paris Olympic Games. Interestingly, it was also supposed to be there 4 years before that in 1896 in the Olympic Games that were held in Athens. It could not take place because there weren't too many entries. In 1900 in the Paris Olympics, cricket was part of that Olympic Games because 4 entries were received. Those were Netherlands, Belgium, France and Great Britain. Though just when that Olympic Games started, 2 countries pulled out in Belgium and Netherlands. So only 2 teams were left. So eventually it was just a one-off final that decided the gold medal. It was played between Great Britain and France. That game was won by Great Britain by a margin of 158 runs. That game went on for 2 days. It was a 2-day game, and Great Britain won by a margin of 158 runs. Interestingly, out of the 11 players that participated from France, all 11 were British nationals. They were only representing a French club. 2 of them were born in France. That's why it was considered a French team. But that's how the first time Olympic Games were part of the cricket, was part of the Olympic Games. Now it comes back to the Summer Olympics after a gap of more than 100 years. Question number 2, will cricket be a permanent fixture? The answer to that is no. So it has been including after voting happened in the IOC session, and it wasn't unanimous. 2 members voted against it, but because majority voted in favor of cricket, it's been included in the Los Angeles Games of 2028, but it does not mean that it will be part of the next Olympic Games. Now the next Olympic Games are going to be in after the Paris Olympics, are going to be in Brisbane in 2032, and you would think that because it's in Australia, there is a chance that cricket might continue. So it is up to the host country if they want to continue with the sports that were part of the previous Olympic Games. But because it is in Australia, again a cricket loving nation, there's a good chance that after Paris you might see the game of cricket also be part of 2032 in the Olympics that will be held in Brisbane. Interestingly, after that, the next Olympic Games after that in 2036 could very well be in India. India are bidding for it alongside Indonesia as well as Poland, and if India get those games, it will not be a surprise if if cricket continues for 3 editions of the Olympic Games. The only difference is that if Brisbane wants cricket to continue, they don't have to have a voting. So that is a good thing. If they want cricket to continue, they can decide themselves and cricket continues. After that, if India do get the hosting rights, if they want cricket to continue after that, they can just include cricket. There will be no voting as such. The other question that will be on your mind, will India be sending a full strength team to the Olympic Games? That's interesting because if you take a look at the Asian Games, India sent a reserve side of sort to participate there. But you think that at the Olympic Games, India might be sending a full strength team. Now you have to look at also in terms of technicality, in terms of what will be the rules, because at the Olympics it's very interesting. Let's take a sport like football, where teams cannot send a full strength team. So majority of the team is under 23. You're only allowed to send 3 senior players to be part of that team. So take for example, I was there at the 2016 Rio Games. Brazil participated, but they only had 3 players from the senior team, and Neymar was one of them that participated like that, but the rest of them are under 23. Will that be the same rule for cricket? That has not yet been decided, though there are other sports. Let's take basketball for example, where you can send your full strength team, but USA, which is the strongest team in basketball, does not always send their best team. They send a few superstars, but it's not always their best team that is sent to the Olympics. So it will be up to India. I think gauging by the talk and the kind of reaction that we're getting, a full strength team will be allowed to send. So the under 23 rule that we see with football may not apply to cricket, but will the BCCI send their full strength team? It will be up to the BCCI. The next question, I'm sure this will be the first thing on your mind. Does this guarantee India a medal? Well, tell you what, there are going to be 6 teams participating in the Olympic Games as far as cricket is concerned. Now, why 6 teams? That's done because of a cost cutting measure. You know, cricket has a big squad of 15 members, so most Olympic host nations are trying to cut costs and reduce the number of athletes participating. If you make it more than 6, then the number of athletes participating becomes massive, and then that's a major burden on the host nation. So they're trying to reduce the number of athletes across sport. So they've zeroed in on 6 teams. Now, how will those 6 teams be decided? That's going to be very interesting. It does seem like that it might be based on ICC's T20 ranking. So the top 6 teams at the cutoff date, they will have a cutoff date. At the time, the top 6 teams in ICC's cricket ranking will get a chance then to participate at the Olympic Games. So coming back to the question, does this guarantee India a medal? Most likely India is going to be in the top 6 of those T20 rankings, so they should make it to the Olympic Games. Does it guarantee them a medal? Well, it's going to be as tough as answering a question, will India win the World Cup, because there are going to be other top teams, possibly Australia, possibly New Zealand, possibly South Africa, possibly England. All these tough teams are going to participate. They might also be sending their full strength team. So India has as much chance of winning an Olympic gold as much as they have a chance of winning a T20 World Cup. So it's not going to be easy, but of course they would be one of the favorites to win the gold or at least a medal. Final question, what would be the format and the groups in this particular tournament? Because there will be 6 teams, we still don't know the details of that. That is going to be worked out, but most likely it could be 2 ways that you could look at it. One could be you divide it into 2 groups of 3 teams each. All those 3 teams play against each other, and then the top team in both groups can play a final. That could be one way. The other way could be you could have a round robin, just like you have in the ODI World Cup. Each of the 6 teams play against each other one time, and then no final as such. At the end of the group stage, maybe the team with the maximum number of points gets the gold, and then silver, and then bronze. Or you have a round robin, and then the top 4 team play a semi-final and then a final. Maybe that is another format that could be explored, but that's something that we don't have clarity on, and that will be decided much later. If you like this video, do give us a like on this and share it with your friends if they are craving for some information like this, and don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today for more such content.